The Gamasutra job board is the most diverse, active and established board of its kind for the video game industry. Here is just one of the many positions being advertised right now. Location: Cambridge, Massachusetts. Disbelief is a game development studio focusing on contracting and consulting services. We have worked with both AAA and independent studios to help their projects ship. Notable projects we have worked on include Gears of Warfare, Borderlands, The Handsome Collection, and Perception. At Disbelief, we are problem solvers. First and foremost, we like to dive in to figure out the reasons something is not working before fixing it. We take pride in solving problems others cannot. We value a sensible work-life balance and work environment. We work with leading-edge technologies to make them perform at the top of their capabilities. Currently, we are looking for a junior programmer. This opportunity is for a full-time position in Cambridge. MA. Junior programmers at Disbelief are called on to develop and debug a variety of areas from gameplay to core engine programming. You are expected to learn new systems and projects as you grow as a developer, with support and training from more senior members of the team. Most importantly, you will work to solve problems with the help of the team. Key responsibilities, skills and requirements. Remote, no. But will you enjoy working from home up to 2 days a week? When project constraints allow, visa sponsorship, no. Technologies. Most of our work is C of varying standards with a sprinkling of other languages as needed for tooling. We do a lot of graphics programming work, using shader languages and platform graphics APIs, since we often are debugging the lower levels of systems. Being able to read X6 for ARM assembly is useful. Primarily we work with Unreal Engine 4, but we also work with Unity and custom game engines. Our work uses rendering, physics, audio, VR, AR, and other APIs frequently. Our primary platforms are PC, X1, PS, Switch, and VR devices. Interested? Apply now. Whether you are just starting out, looking for something new, or just seeing what's out there, the Gamasutra job board is the place where game developers move ahead in their careers. Gamasutra's job board is the most diverse, most active, and most established board of its kind in the video game industry, serving companies of all sizes, from indie to AAA. Looking for a new job? Get started here. Are you a recruiter looking for talent? Post jobs here. Connecting players with characters, giving out details of who they are, and making them stand out in the player's mind is a challenging task. But how about doing that with a few simple motions? Idle animations. Those little bursts of motion that trigger when a player leaves a game alone for a bit. Or is it to overlook but to convey subtle, and not so subtle, aspects of your game's characters and atmosphere, if they are done well? With that in mind, Gamasutra recently checked in with a broad array of developers from around the industry to learn what idle animations they most enjoyed, as well as what it was that they liked about them. While very few devs agreed on what games had the most memorable, enjoyable idols, except Earthworm, which everyone apparently loves, all pointed to just how much they made these characters feel alive for them, fleshing out the worlds they belong to with only a few frames of animation. Natalie Long had, everything is going to be okay. Earthworm had some of the most fun idle animations that I can remember. It was fun because that detail added more personality. I think, maybe, the 90s were the golden age of idle animations. There are so many titles that come to your mind. but now I am not sure if I am remembering right, which I guess is a side effect of idle animations. You will not remember correctly if ever asked. I loved them though. I used to wait just to watch what a character did. The SNES version of Aladdin had a fun one, because he juggled apples, even when you did not have any more apples in your apple inventory, and you would be like, ha ha, liar, I see those apples. I kind of liked the effect that had on me as a player, because I felt a bit betrayed by the game. Like, that one extra apple would have helped, and it was clearly there. The game liked laughs. It added character, though, because it fit with the personality. Ken Wong, Florence, Earthworm in suit, skipping rope, with his body, it's a really memorable idol. It was so inventive in a game full of inventive and zany animations. Edmund Macmillan, the end is nigh. The first one that comes to your mind is Earthworm Jim. I liked that it felt alive. Simon Anderson, oh boy, one of the first that comes to your mind is Ryu from Street Fighter 3, not because it's technically impressive, or even the most impressive today, but it was one of those moments where you could simply tell the artist's skill had improved. The air flowing through the legs of his pants as he moves was an impressive addition to a classic stance, without it being distracting. And a nice reminder back then that with enough practice, I could do the same. A close second from that game is Diddley, as it was surprisingly clever to do little alternating steps in his pose to imply readiness, yet mixing up the timing of just 3 poses makes it seem a lot more elaborate than it really is. Of course, I cannot forget mentioning Mario in Super Mario 64. Far being one of the first true 3D platformers, the game had so many small details that made the massive polygons come alive. The fact that if you would leave the controller alone, Mario would just kind of lounge out of boredom was such a nice little detail. I still remember going to eat dinner having forgotten to pause the game and finding Mario asleep. Considering the monumental challenge of making a game as playable and complete in a relatively uncharted genre, the attention to detail was amazing. Another thing to consider is that Mario can sit down and fall asleep literally anywhere if not interrupted. For as many complex movements as that game had, bringing Mario in and out of that state and reacting appropriately, if interrupted, is pretty robust for such a small thing. There's no shortage of games today that struggle giving an appropriate response during the transition from an uncontrollable state, let alone one that can happen in virtually any point of the game. As an extra mention, I do have a soft spot for the common slime anime from Breath of Fire IV. It's one of the most elaborately animated sprites in the game, and in a genre where slime enemies are as common as air, it felt like they wanted to have the best slime of them all, putting extra time and excessive frames to prove their spot, which is part of charming in a way. Tom Hewlett, the actor at Way Forward, Let's Go with Sparks' long idol in the original Rocket Knight Adventures. It's a pretty weird one. 1. It gives us character detail when you find nowhere else in the game. He takes off his hat to reveal hair. 2. He speaks the only text dialogue in the entire game. 3. He breaks the fourth wall to say it to the player, as was the fashion at the time. It's also cute and endearing. Baby Duca, DSH, Simon the Sorcerer, the first one, where he takes his Walkman out of his hat and just chills to the music. The Walkman is typical for the time. The way a sorcerer listens to his favorite tape in the middle of danger and adventure. It makes Simon you a cool cat, and not a weak nerd. Also, as a developer, I think it made quite an impact on me. Not only was there Dragons, a parallel universe, cellos, and saxophones. But Simon was also like me. He sometimes took out his portmanteau, chill even though things got rough. Little effort from the designer, and quite an effect. Bonsai dream house, you are worthless. A bird plonking a batter on the head. Banjo kazooie. Idle animations are all about pure character expression. But thinking of with for just one single character to express and emote by themselves can be tough when they have little to work off of.